Welcome to this video here. We are talking about something known as the heat equation, the all-important heat equation, which comes courtesy Fourier, in fact, and it in fact involves also this operator called the Laplacian, which is uh, the sum of the partial derivatives with respect to each of the components. So, how does this heat equation actually help us? It's actually got widespread applications in many fields. It has applications in uh, spread of heat across the globe due to the global warming of the sun and other um, pollutants. It has to model growth of bacterial colonies, and it also, very importantly, helps with modeling migration of human populations. Um, In fact, it can also be used to model the spread of property prices over a city or country over the course of a few months or a year, or even a few days, in fact. So this heat equation, in fact, it's a very simple equation. It's del U by del T, the rate of change of U, and U, of course, is our operating variable, the variable that we're interested in. This is some constant times the the Laplacian of U, in fact. Okay, and alpha is the diffusion coefficient times the rate of spread. Of course, this has widespread applications, predicts growth over time, and can be applied to ecology and demographics and cities. Here we've got a nice animation fact for the one-dimensional case of the heat equation. As you see, the temperature drops over time and it diffuses and becomes more spread out over the position x as time goes on. All right, and of course it settles to an equilibrium over time. There's a particular MATLAB equation that, rather MATLAB code that we've used to simulate this. I'll show that to you in a few seconds. All right, just hold on a bit. And there's a bit more that we also have to look at here now. Why is the heat equation a good model? In fact, because it predicts the spread of disease. It calculates the rate of earth cooling from exposure to sunlight. It helps to predict the property price market, and it is useful in demographic spread over a city or nation. Um, Here we have these equations which explain how it is useful in the prediction of heat spread over the globe. Okay, so we have incoming solar radiation, which is reflected by the clouds, and some of it gets accepted into the atmosphere. This is modeled again with the heat equation. Now let me show you the MATLAB code that was used to make this animation. In fact, it's right here. Let it just load up in a second. In fact, let it just load up in a second. All right, give me a second. It's taking too long. There we are. There we are. So this MATLAB code makes use of the diffusion coefficient, of the rate of change, of the time step, and a couple of other parameters as well. And thereby it models the influence of the heat over the system. All right, just give it a second. In fact, it's going to load up right here. There it has loaded up. So we create these variables: alpha, which is the coefficient, diffusion coefficient, and dt is that time step. Nt is 1800. We have all these numbers, and then we use it to simulate the growth or the spread of this heat over time. And you just need to press the play button here, and you get the animation as we saw previously. In fact, this can be used to create money, in fact, because the information gained or garnered from the differences in property prices, for instance, can be used in buying and selling property shares, and you can make money. It can also be used, in fact, in other applications. You can use it to model population growth over time and thereby predict useful additions to a city or a particular country. based on those improvements over time. All right, so these are all the applications of the heat equation. Of course, it's this age-old tool by Laplace and Fourier that came almost 300 years ago, I believe, that is now still up to date, still holding up and giving fruitful results. So I would highly recommend that you please have a look and try to investigate the heat equation and try to use it to make money of your own. Thank you.